Good evening, everybody. For all of you guys that are tuning in. So I'm still getting a hang of OBS. Um, it might take me a while to kind of figure everything out and do the proper transitions and everything, but uh, I'm getting the hang of it little by little. And what I want to do is eventually get proficient in it, where I can do better transitions and all that stuff, so we can kind of play around with it some more. So today I'm going to do a project. It's a little different, and not in a bad way. I'm trying to put it together for a gift. It's going to be really complicated. It's going to be a multi-step process. What I'm going to attempt to do is today I'm going to attempt to put together a 3D print. And what I want to do, is kind of just set up a 3D print with some little bits and bops, so that I can turn that into part of the project. And I'm making it sound a lot more complicated than it needs to be. So what I want to do is, once I turn it into once I just put it together, I'm not gonna design it. This isn't gonna be a design thing, because I'm gonna get something that's already pre-done. But once it's done, I'm going to I'm gonna throw it on my resin printer, and I'll move a camera over there, and I'll be resin printing it. And hold on, I'm sorry, I'm catching my train of thought here. But I'm going to resin print this, and in turn,
No bitterness at all. It's just a personal thing,
sorry,
a
guys.
personal feeling of like, well, I'm
Here. Like I said, resin print it, and eventually I'm gonna do a laser project on this too. I'm gonna do a little bit of CNC work, and I'm gonna put it all together. I'm actually gonna illuminate this thing, so I'm gonna have to order some parts that I don't have. But right now it's gonna be real simple. I'm just going to find a file. I'm gonna use Thingiverse. I'm gonna find a file. I'm gonna import it into Chitubox, and then I'm gonna set it up so I can 3D print it on my resin printer. I haven't used the resin printer in over a month, so I'm sure the resin in it's trash. I'm gonna try to use it anyways. I'm not gonna make any promises on this, that it's gonna work, but at least it'll be good for a time lapse, or in the end it'll be good for the stream. It's probably gonna be one of those like long prints. So what I'll do is I will record it, and I will record that, and I will time lapse that, so that you guys can catch it on my YouTube channel. If you want to see that process, if you want to just see the printing, I'm gonna time lapse it and put it on my YouTube channel, because if not, it's gonna be like 45-hour stream, and I ain't about to start doing that. It would actually be really good for me to watch the print if I just streamed it, but I'm not going to. So I'll do a time lapse. I'll actually record it, like legitimately record it. I'll do a time lapse on it, and then on my YouTube channel, if you guys are gonna watch this video, I'll add it to the end of this video, as well as just a standalone time lapse on YouTube. I know that a couple people have already told me, hey, you should do time lapses, you should do TikToks, all that stuff. I'm not quite there yet, so I'm not about that life. But let me show you real quick the sorry the Thingiverse website. Where's Thingiverse? Thingiverse. Okay. So here's Thingiverse. And I'm gonna play in here real quick. I'm gonna find the two files I want. Now, to be fair, I might already have these files. I haven't really checked because I do download a ton of 3D printing stuff. Um, Let me just double check if I have it. If I already have it, then it'll be really... no, I don't. Okay, so I thought I did. Ah, I do have one. I do have one. So, don't kill me. You know, for you soccer moms out there, I'm looking just for. I'm not looking for parts. I'm looking for a model of an AR-15, or an SMG. I don't know what I want really. Um, uh, I want to use an AR-15. I think AR-15 is a lot more like universally known, and it's easy to identify. The thing is I don't know if there are any models of AR-15. There's the Halo 5 assault rifle, which is like completely. Oh, yes. Okay, cool. So there's a couple in here. Let's open this one. Let's open this one. I just want to see them. And a lot of parts, which is cool. Like if you're 3D printing parts for your firearms, that's dope. There's a Nerf pump shotgun. So this is gonna be a real quick stream. Like I said, I'm just gonna find what is this? What is it? AR-15 repaired, modified, and split. What are these files? Oh man, is this like I gotta piece this thing together? Like I just want like a little toy version. This is like someone actually built like a full size AR-15. Oh my god. Okay. I think this is the same file. Yeah, this is the same thing. Okay. I mean, it looks like the same thing. Let's see. Modified and split. Okay. I don't. Maybe I just do this scale rifle model? Because I don't want a full size one. I just want like a teeny tiny G.I. Joe sized one. Ooh, Destiny exotic sniper rifle. Like I had like there's a lot of exotic rifles in here, which I get. That's dope. I just want a basic rifle. Ooh, a Warhammer rifle. Okay, they have an M4 for Legos, but they don't have an AR-15 for Lego. Like, come on. Like, I don't want a full-size replica AR-15. If you guys want to see me build a full-size AR-15 replica, like, I'm down to do that. But at this point, it's just for a little project. And I just, you know, sniper rifle for Legos. Sniper rifle prop. Browning automatic for Legos. I mean, what kind of Lego needs a Browning automatic rifle? Like, seriously. Oh my gosh. Ooh, a heavy sniper rifle. Look at that. That's actually pretty dope. And it has magazines. Huh. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look at it. We're gonna look at it together. Don't judge me. Where did I go? Oh, I was like, I moved my stream chat, and now I can't. Oh, there, my stream chat got moved again. Okay. Let's see here. AK-105, AK-74. Yo, this is the same file. Who you messing with? Who you playing with? They got airsoft rifles, light shotgun. Mass Effect M97 Viper. Man, some of these modelers, they spend some time on this stuff, which is awesome. Good for them. Like, legit. Like, good for them. And then if you ever go on Thingiverse, there's a lot of websites out there, and Thingiverse is one of them. But there's a ton more that do um, like Warhammer and all that like good stuff. Dude, like really, don't judge me. I don't know how to spell, and I forgot an A. Never learned how to spell. 28mm assault rifle. See, like a bunch of Warhammer stuff. Like, I'm not into Warhammer. That's dope. Look, sorry. It's a pencil holder topper thing. That's cool too. Rifle rack, fully stocked. Fantasy arsenal. See, like this would be dope. Like, see this? Someone make this. Someone make this as an AR-15. 28mm AR-15. Like, how hard is that? Says the guy who's like begging someone to make it. Like, just do it yourself. I know. I know. I know. That is the world we live in. Like, I want it done for me already. Someone already get it done. Fortnite Scar. That's a cool. That's dope. But I want like a real rifle. Okay. AK-74. What? Low detail. No. No. Ah. Okay, well, we saw 28mm. Let's try 28mm. Let's see what comes up on that. You know, if I was like straight balling, I would just go to Goat Guns and buy like one of their replicas. But they're expensive as all heck, man. Like, they're crazy. If you guys don't know what Goat Guns in, oh, there's a Barrett 50. Shout out to the AK-50 guy on YouTube, but Barrett 50. Like, real story, I was at Cabela's, whatever, and there was a 50 cal rifle. Like, it was on display. I guess it was on consignment, and never in my entire life had I been more tempted to buy a completely ridiculous piece of gun or accessory or anything than that 50 cal. And it was just ridiculous. Like, it was so ridiculous. Like, there would have been absolutely no sense for anybody to own it. But it looks so bad. I mean, think about the flex that you could have walking around during the zombie apocalypse with the 50 cal. I'm just saying, like if that was like the militia gun you decided to choose, like, yo, like, straight respect on that person. Granted, they did. I think the ticket on that one, I think the price was $15,000. And this was before pandemic. This was like before cray, like, pricing went up like psychotically. So yeah. All right. That's kind of dope. I'm not hating it. I'm hating that. And I don't like that. And that's dumb. Okay, maybe I just don't like this gun. Oh man, like, I'm gonna be stuck in a situation where I'm literally gonna have to print this gun in a bajillion different pieces and glue them together. Oh, dude, like, ugh. Legitimately, I hope the person I make this for appreciates the amount of time that it's gonna take just to print this damn thing. 13 thing files, 9 thing files. Why is this 13? no protrusion from the bottom of the magazine. Combined two stock. Includes pins to allow for exact alignment on components. Alright, I'm gonna go with this one. Download all files. Oh, no. Okay, anybody that, like... So, I gotta attribute this to whoever the... So I think the original designer is this guy. 3-cubed engineer. And then Rebel Taz modified the file. April 14th, 2018. March 10th, yeah. So Rebel Taz modified 3-cubed engineer's original file. So I'm gonna download the Rebel Taz version. And I do hate this. They make you download every file individually now? Like, am I tripping on that? Like, you can't just download everything in one shot? I mean, am I losing it? Okay. Alright, maybe I have to log into my account. Okay, now I'm logged in. Can I just download it in one shot? Because if it makes me download each one of these, it's gonna suck. Ah, come on, really? Why? Why did Thingiverse do this? Why? If you know how to fix this, or if I'm just retarded in this sense, like, let me know, because now I gotta literally download. I have to 8 pin. Oh, jeez. Oh, okay. Okay, so 3D printer files, new folder, AR-15. Just in case the feds come looking for me, I gotta put prop. Save. Magazine. Save. Barrel repaired upper. Oh, jeez. Barrel repaired lower. Barrel repaired middle lower. What? Middle upper. Oh my gosh. Body repaired. Front. Ooh. Stock. I gotta say, like, the amount of scope optional. Well, yeah, if I'm gonna download all this crap, I'm gonna download the scope. Stock. The amount of detail these people put in these models and stuff is incredible. Like, absolutely incredible. Like, good for them. Okay, so I think I got all 13. Oh, which is gonna suck to print. Yeah, it's gonna suck. Alright, so I'm gonna close this window. Now, I'm in Chitubox. So I have 2 printers. I have the resin printer by Creality. I don't know the model number. I have it up here somewhere. Oh, let me see. So this one is the Creality LD002R, and then I also have a Frozen Sonic Mega 8. I'm gonna do it on the Creality because it's gonna be such a small file. I say it's gonna be a small file. It's probably gonna be ridiculously big. Once I import everything. So I pretty much have. Okay, I lie. I don't have everything dialed in. Prop. I'm just gonna do all in one shot. Okay. Oh my god. Oh god. Okay. Oh, how do I? I literally want this thing to be the smallest thing in the world, and this thing is gigantic. Well, I mean, the blue here is my build plate, so I can build this stuff off of it. Oh, jeez. Scale. Yes, I'm just gonna go 20. Oh, hallelujah! I'm doing 25. That's still too big. That's still too big. Like, even at 25%, that's a decent. No, I mean, can I go 10%? 10%. Jeez. Put on plate. Okay, centered. Oh. Put on plate. It's already on plate. Centered. Okay. Well, this will be a good. Actually, this one here. This will be good. So the Z on this one is 16.9, and that's not even the whole barrel. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so that's 17 on the dot. That might be okay. It's gonna be a little chunky, but I think I can make that work. I'm gonna not do that. And I'm pretty sure I have all this stuff already offset. I think that's the pin. Yep. I gotta make 8 of those. Oh, gosh. Do I want to make 8 pins that are microscopic? Like, there's no way I'm gonna use them. So no, I'm not going to. Same thing with the trigger. I mean, how? Ugh. Okay. I get it. I gotta fit that trigger in there. Yeah. That sucks. Oh, what the hell is that? Is anything off the build plate? Can we count them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, cool. So now I need to move everything into a usable area where I can make my modifications. So I think I always do an offset. Let me see. Print, layer height, yeah, bottom layer height, yeah, yeah. Okay. Close. I want to say I always do an offset on these things, but I swear to you, I haven't done this stuff. Okay, so on the X, I'm going to rotate it 30 degrees. It just prints better that way. Don't ask me why. And then I'm going to 0.5 millimeter. I'm going to float it basically. So they tend to print a little bit better this way. I don't know why. I don't understand. So I'm also going to import the other file I have, which is this 556. So that's to scale. That one right, that one right there. I believe 56.5, and I could pull one out and double check it. But this is supposed to be a NATO 556, 56.5. Yep, it's right about there. So it's gonna be pretty much to scale. I know it seems like. So it's gonna be pretty much to scale. Now, same with the rest of it. I have to rotate it 30 degrees. Ugh. Not 30 more degrees. Ugh, I just wanna, I don't wanna select all. Don't let me, okay, there we go. I wanna rotate this one 30 degrees. Okay. And then offset it by just 0.5 millimeter. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. So gonna move that over. Gonna move everything kind of out of the way. I don't want stuff printing on top of it. I'm trying to give everything its own space. I'm gonna already call it that this trigger is not gonna print. Already gonna call it. It is not gonna be a successful print, and that's okay. That's why I'm moving it off to the side. Everything else I am praying. Also on this one, I'm gonna hollow it out. Hollow. So this specifically, I'm gonna hollow it out because it's gonna be a lot of resin. Do I want a 5 millimeter thick wall? I don't need a 5 millimeter thick wall. That would be kind of defeat the purpose of hollowing it out. I'd be okay with like a 2.5 maybe. It's not. Let's just go with 2. I'm gonna go with 2, and you'll see it do its thing. And then you see it's not really hollowing a ton out, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna hollow it out. I'm also gonna punch a hole in it for drainage. As you print, so I'm gonna put a little hole. So it's gonna be a circle. It's only gonna be 3 millimeters. Depth doesn't have to. Depth can be. Add a hole. Add a hole right here. Almost center. It's not quite. And what it'll do is it'll allow air inside. So that no adding a hole. Okay. So that as it prints, it doesn't create a vacuum, and it also allows for drainage once I'm done printing to drain all that excess resin out, because I do have to cure these things. So now we need to add supports. So we're gonna come in here, and we're just gonna go back to here. Oh no, what happened? Oh no, Chitubox crashed. Oh no. I'm rendering also in the background, so I apologize. That's what she said. This guy. I don't want a new update right now. Oh, don't tell. Oh, bro. I'm gonna blame you. I'm gonna blame you, Dallas Dabber. I don't know why. I'm just gonna blame you. Because it's easier. It makes me feel better when I have someone else to blame for my idiocy. Do this again. Because my stupid program crashed. And then I have to add the AR-15 again. Grrrg. We're not going to do the pins. Yeah, I know. We're going to select all. Oh, shit. We're going to unselect all. I'm going to undo this. I'm going to get rid of the NATO round. Now I'm going to select all. Ah. Still going to blame Dallas Dabber. It's all his fault. Yeah, he heard. Yeah, you heard me right, bro. You're gonna get blamed. It is your fault. It is 100% your fault. I am taking no responsibility for the actions that I created. It is Dallas Dabber's fault. Chitubox crashed. So anybody that's watching this stream, anybody that in the future watches this stream, if you hear me talk about Dallas Dabber, it is always his fault. Everything that goes wrong on this stream is his fault. And when he goes and he does his tournament tonight, because I know, yeah, bro, I'm making an AR. You're like 10 minutes late into this conversation. I am making an AR. I'm making a scale replica of an AR-15. Because why not? And my program that does it, which is Chitubox, that does it on my resin printer, crashed. And because it crashed, I'm blaming you. Yep, you heard it. It is your fault. And it's oh god, come on. It is getting so sketchy in here. Okay, now I'm gonna add the bullet again. If it crashes again, I'm just gonna I'm throwing this out the window. I'm throwing my computer, throwing Chitubox. Okay. So now we're gonna move this stupid bullet over. We're gonna move it over. Okay. This bullet specifically, we're gonna hollow out again. I guarantee it's gonna print like trash. Okay. And then I'm gonna go underneath it and I'm gonna dig a hole right there. Fail, not allowed, out, or too deep to dig. What the hell? No? That's BS. I know it's hollowed out. Hold on. Where am I doing? Okay. So, I'm gonna increase the depth on this thing. And I'm gonna... Okay, so that should work. That should work there. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. Right? It worked? Did it work? Oh, man, did it work? Doesn't look like it worked. Nope. Okay, gotta do another one. Gotta dig another hole. In here. Oh, why? See, I'm not paying attention. I'm talking to Dallas Dabber. He's throwing me off my game. Oh, God. What the hell? Like, this is just gonna be like the most giant depth hole on the planet. Okay, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Like, undo. Ah, crap. Redo. Okay. So I'm just gonna select all. We're gonna rotate it 30 degrees. Okay. I'm gonna unselect all that NATO dummy round. Can I hollow it out again? I'm gonna try it again. Go slower. Go slow. Okay. And now I'm gonna dig a hole. Can I add a hole here? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I did it. I did it. I don't know if it's gonna do it. It just might be. I don't know. I don't know what that is. You know what? How do I undig this? I'm just gonna delete this. Do this again. Open the friggin' NATO round again. It's gonna be solid. Solid as a rock. Okay. So we're gonna rotate this 30 degrees. Okay, and now I have to put that in. Wait, it's supposed to be on the screen. Oh, crap. Bro, thank you for calling me out on that crap. Let's see here. What? Oh, it says Chitubox, but of course it's not going to show Chitubox. Duh! Alright. See, again, everything that breaks, Dallas Dabber's fault. But then again, everything that gets fixed in this sense is also Dallas Dabber. So thank you, and damn you. Go check out his channel too. He games. It's funny. He's not very good. I'm kidding. He's actually one of the best players I've ever seen. It's pretty crazy how he plays. Like, legitimately crazy. I get a headache just watching him. Okay, so we're gonna do light supports on this, and I'm just gonna do from the platform. Oh god, it's so small though. I'm just gonna do from the platform. I'm gonna see. Oh, what did oh. Try this again. I'm gonna select all, then I'm just gonna go from the platform. Yes, I want to remove. Yes, everything. Add supports. Yes. Okay. Cool. So it creates this support structure. And I added a little bit of flotation, but the supports will add an additional flotation onto it. So you'll see all of these supports. Now, if I had done all supports, like everything, you would have seen supports like in here. You would have seen supports like inside here. Like it would have been cray. I am going to add a couple more supports though. In places where I think it needs it, like on the barrel here. Just gonna add a couple more. Same thing on the mag right here. I'm gonna add some supports. And I'm only doing it because it's such a small print. Like it's such a tiny print. I want to give it the best chance of like actually coming out. Let's see here. That looks okay. That looks okay. I kind of want to add some more on the barrel. Don't judge me. Okay, right here. I'll tell you right here. You can't see it. This part is probably not going to print. Like, legitimately, I have my reservations on this specific part. And then this part here, too. Like, I would be super surprised if that printed. But we're going to go for it. I'm going to add a support here. I'm going to add a support here. That should print into itself. That should be okay, just in case. Because I don't want it ripping off the plate. Again, this one too, super surprised if it prints. Super surprised. Like, shocked even if it printed. And I know all you guys that are like really into like 3D printing are like, you're doing too much, you're overkilling it. Yeah, probably. But hey, it's my resin, it's my printer. I do what I want. Alright, so Dallas Dabber, if you're still listening, this AR-15 thing that I'm doing is legitimately a full-size prop replica of an AR-15, and I had to scale it down like crazy to fit it. So yeah. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come from the bottom, and I have to basically build this thing layer by layer very slowly and see if I have any floaters. So I'm basically looking at I was basically looking to see if there's any of this pieces floating. And Yeah, you're gonna ask about legality. This is 100% legal. It's not a real gun. They're not real bullets. I'm not gonna be using this in some militia thing. Okay, so there's a couple pieces here that are floating, which if they were to try to print, they would not. So that one might be okay. That one may be okay. This one for sure is not okay. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Here. This one for sure is not okay. It's very hard. To get within the right space to fix these things. Is there a better way? I'm sure there is. I'm sure some 3D printing savant is going to be like, you're doing it wrong. Yeah, I know. And you know what? I'm okay with it. Are you? Can you live with the fact that I'm doing it wrong? No, I didn't want to do that. I had a support to a support. Alright. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, this is a prop. It's not a real gun. This was never intended to be shot. It's 100% prop. And I've scaled it down to micro machine sized levels so that it could print in a scale that I could use. Okay, so here's another one. Okay, that one's printing, right? That one's printing, right? Those aren't floating. That one's fine. That one's fine. And you can see kind of it's pretty much printing teeny tiny incrementations of it. And the goal is to find as much of it that is floating in midair to kind of keep that from printing in midair. Because it'll just screw up your whole print. And for those of you guys, I am not Uncle Jesse. I am not a pro at any of this crap. This is purely for hobby. I think I'm okay with this. I think I'm okay with this. I'm gonna save it. 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 I'm gonna put it in my Air 15 prop. 10% gun and bullet. So saving it in Chitubox. I'm gonna go grab a USB because I don't have one on hand. Alright, got me a USB thumb drive. That doesn't fit. Okay, let's plug it in over here. Old project I had, delete that. Cool. Alright, so that's it for now, and then let's slice it. Slicey, slicey. So, bro, how do you know what to do? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, I just grab all this crap and I start playing with it, and eventually I get to a point where I'm comfortable using it. I am not by any means an expert at any of this stuff, but I get to a point where I'm like, okay, cool, I can get away with it, right? I can get away with doing it and building it and playing with it, and you know, where I can use it. Like, it's for me, right? I'm using it for myself. So like I don't know how legitimately I do it. I just do it. I know it's weird. So I wanna play the print for you. I don't wanna play it from top to bottom. I wanna play it from bottom to top. So you guys will see exactly how it prints. from, let's stop this, from the machine. And this is how it's going to do it. And then each layer is going to like, and it's going to illuminate these LEDs, the screen, and it's going to cure the resin. And so I'm going to show you what it does. I'm going to do it in like kind of a fast way. So these are like first layer prints, and these are going to be long exposure times. And then it's going to like start building these tiny little layers, right? So each dot represents the little green bit that you see on the left. And it builds it really, really slow. This is super sped up, by the way. I'm going to speed that up too. I'm going to go a little faster. So this is super sped up. This is going to happen in like less than a minute, whereas the machine is going to take 4 hours and 54 minutes. 4 hours, 54 minutes, and 32 seconds. And it's going to cost me 25 cents worth of resin. Because I buy cheap ass general purpose resin. And it has a calculator. You basically put in the resin. I mean, still, but to self-teach yourself this kind of stuff, kind of nuts. I mean, like really, I mean, isn't that kind of how you learn to do stuff? I mean, did you go to school to learn to build a PC? Did you go to school and do all that stuff to learn to do our inventory and learn about parts and stuff? Like, you got to get taught somewhere. You got to learn it somehow. Like, for me, being self-taught, teaching myself is the best way, because that's how my brain works proficiently. Like, if I can show it to myself, and this is my goddamn 4 hours. But like legitimately, if I taught myself how to do this, if I go through the process and I mess it up, cool, I messed it up. I learned from that mistake, right? If someone's teaching me and they're like, oh, it's okay, don't worry, you'll get it next time, and then like, here's a pat on your ass and you can get going, I'm like, that's not how I learn. Like, you gotta let me do it, you gotta let me screw it up, you gotta let me spend money, and that's the way I'm gonna get good at it. Like, even with my cars, like when I work on my cars, I tell people, or people that talk to me about it, like, I've built cars that have gone to SEMA, I've built cars for my own personal gain, I've built cars for racing, and, excuse me, but like, legitimately, I have to do it first. Like, I have to make the attempt to do it before I can finally go, okay, I cannot physically and functionally and mentally accomplish this piece of the puzzle. So, like true story, one of my cars was like the second car in the my car, I had a Scion that I built that went to SEMA, and my car was used not to prototype the vertical door kit, but it was the second car in the United States to have a vertical door kit installed on it. The first guy was out of New York. They prototyped the car, the kit on his car. They shipped him the kit. He ended up screwing it up, took it off his car, scrapped that project for him, and I called them and I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. And they're like, yes, we have a kit. We just developed it. They sent me the kit. This is a 100% true story. They sent me the kit. They told me exactly how to do it. I installed the kit. You have to take the whole fender off. You have to take the whole door off. You have to reset the door. I installed the kit on the car. I reset the door. I went to open the door to test the kit before you put everything on, to test the kit. And I sheared the locking pin for the hydraulic ram that was in there. And I was like, okay, something's wrong here. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Something doesn't make sense to me. And I called the owner of Vertical Doors and I'm like, hey dude, this is what happened. And he's like, let me look into it. He immediately calls me back and he goes, dude, I apologize. We sent you the first rendition of the kit. The mounting points on it were lower than the production kit. That kit doesn't fit that shock. It wasn't your fault. I literally lost it. He's like, I'm overnighting you a new kit. Get it in whenever you can. So I was like, well, at this point, like, I'm already like, okay, well, I don't want to screw it up again. He's like, just if you have to, bring your car here. We'll install it. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have them install it, but I'm gonna put my car back together. I'm not gonna take the kit off because it's dumb to take that kit off, have the door redone, have them reset and all. So I left the kit on because you could still open the door. I left that kit. You just couldn't lift it up. I left that kit on, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna trim my fender. So I have to trim. You have to trim the fender to fit the kit. So I went to trim the fender, and I was like straight janky tooling it. Like I had a Dremel tool. Like I did not have proper equipment. Whatever. I dremeled the section that I was supposed to. I tried to get a little creative with it by like crimping it a little so that there was no sharp edges. Ended up completely trashing the fender. Like trashing the fenders. Like beyond repairability. It was bad. Bad, bad, bad. So I was freaking out. I was freaking out because I had to get my car to vertical doors. I had to get my fenders fixed. I was like, they're going to install it, but my fenders are going to look like crap. I had a bunch of car shows scheduled. And I called a buddy of mine who had worked with Duraflex, who was building a kit on his car. He had the same car as mine. And they were doing like their little Sportster, whatever. And they did a fiberglass fender for him. And I called him and I said, dude, listen, this is what happened. This is the situation. I need fenders. And he was like, dude, this is how janky the scene was back then, okay? He's like, dude, I have fenders, but I wanted a paint job. So I went to like a sketch neighborhood and they trashed my car. They keyed my car. They gashed it. They screwed up the whole paint. And I left it there overnight and they screwed up everything. So I have the fenders, but because I got the car repainted, they're all jacked up. And I was like, oh, bro, I was like, I don't care. Are they damaged? Are they dented? Are they twisted? He's like, no, they're just cosmetically trashed. And I'm like, okay, cool. I need them. He's like, yeah, no problem. So I like drove out to his house. He was like 2 hours away from me. I drove out to his house. I picked up the fenders, put them in my car. I drove to vertical doors. I got to vertical doors. I said, listen, put these fenders on. The other ones are trash. Put these fenders on. Don't worry about the way they look. Okay, cool. So they ended up installing it. They ended up getting done. And their kit looked great. It was, cars.com did a photo shoot with it, did all their advertising material with it. Back then there was a really like up and coming import model called Amy Faye, and we did a shoot on my car with her, and did all the marketing material. She ended up blowing up big. She was on like Super Street and Import Tuner, and like she ended up blowing up at the time, and did all that, and then maybe 2 years before SEMA, I was like, I want to completely redo the car. And I got in touch with a bunch of companies, and what happened was the vertical door thing was done. Like that fad was over. Like it was really popular during that time period. It was very much like not a lot of people were doing it. If they were doing it, they were doing very like busted ass systems, like janky systems, like door hinges from your house kind of shit. So I'm like, I'm done with that. Like, I went legit with it. I got to do it again. So I ended up hooking up with the company. We built the car again, took off the vertical door kit, reinstalled the factory hinges. But the fenders had these huge holes in them where the vertical door kit was. So I was like, great, now I need fenders. But I wasn't about to go to the dealership and pay for fenders. So I called my buddy again. I said, hey, listen, I need a line on some fenders. What do you got? He's like, well, what do you have right now? I said, I have the white ones that I took from you. I had them repainted, and I got them redone. Do you have any like anybody that could help a brother out? And he's like, I got a buddy who has a silver one, whose fenders he also swapped out that are straight. I'm like, okay, are the inserts in there too? Because there was just like a plastic insert with like a foam. Um, and he's like, yeah, they got it. I'm like, okay, well, what does he want from? He's like, do you have the old fenders? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, he's trying to get rid of the car, so just swap him out the fenders. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, he'll be cool with it. Like, no big deal. He's like, just pay for like if you can, like help him out with the paint or something. And I was like, dude, yeah, like bet, like no problem. So, and I was talking to companies, so paint wasn't super expensive. It was like 150 a fender, right? And back then Fender was like $400 or $500. So, I was like, yeah, bet. So we took him out. I took it out to his house. The same issue. The fenders are kind of janky and they're kind of like scratched up. But I was getting the whole car repainted and bondoed and all this stuff. So I swapped out the fenders. I gave him the ones, and I'm like, bro, like just let me know how much to color match them. He's like, dude, I'm getting the car repainted next week. Don't worry about it. I was like, cool. Well, here's like $50 or whatever for for helping me out. So took those fenders to the body shop. Said, hey, slap these on. Body work them, do what we got to do. And we were doing so much work on that car. So that was just a teeny tiny piece. How much did you spend during? Jesus Christ. Okay, so I probably could have easily bought a decent sized condo in California for the amount of money I spent on that car. Like, we're not talking like like California now. We're talking like California 2012. Like right out of the market crash, like kind of still stagnant. Like 2012 California housing market, not 2022 California housing market. It's like that, there was a lot of money in that car. I was just really blessed that I got to deal with a lot of really cool companies, a lot of really cool people, and they helped me out like tremendously on saving some of the on cost and labor, and getting my car really like where it needed to be. So we're gonna do this AR prop. So yeah, I was blessed, like really. And it's funny. So I had. So back then, if you guys don't know, there was this TV show on. It was called Pimp My Ride. Really super popular, but they went from West Coast Customs to Galpin Autosports, gas, right? And when they moved to gas, a couple of guys from West Coast Customs went to gas, and they were doing a lot of high-end builds. And I wanted to work, so I had worked. So Galpin Autosports is pretty much a Ford dealership, right? So I wanted to work with another Ford company. So I had worked with Ford Racing out of my home city of Whittier, and I had done some stuff with a couple other people, and Vortec was one of them, and we had done, and mind you, back then Ford Racing was big, but the area that I was working at specifically was for desert racing, like trucks, right? So I was dealing with those guys to help me tune and build and rebuild, and they helped me out a lot. So, and I was working with Vortec, and I was like, okay, cool, like Ford really helped me out. Maybe Galpin Autosports would want to get on my build, maybe not at a Ford level, but at least as a customization level, right? Because Galpin Autosports was doing a lot of stuff and custom stuff with Ford at the time. So I was like, okay, well, maybe they want to branch out, because they were doing a bunch of stuff for that show that was not Ford brand. They did Chevy, they did Volvo, they did a bunch of other stupid stuff. And I went to a car show. I forget what it was. It was at the convention center. It was the Los Angeles Convention Center, and I met with the guys from Gas, and it was the guys that were on TV, like the Dave something and Mike and like all those guys, and I met with them, and I said, hey, listen, and it wasn't like I had scheduled a meeting. It was, I had a mutual friend who worked for Toyota, and I was like, hey, I'd like to meet the Galpin guys, and he's like, yeah, no problem, let me introduce you. So we went to the Galpin guys, and I was like, hey, you know, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I wanna. This is kind of like where my thought process is. And they were like, yeah, like that seems doable. But we don't like. He's like, you know, we're a Ford dealership. I'm not asking for you um, to 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 brand on me. I mean, if you want to brand on me, that's fine. But I just need support because I need, you know, I need this done and this done and this. I need body work done. I need paint done. I need custom fiberglass stuff done and da 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 da. And they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And they had at the time, I want to say it was an Impala. So they had a Chevy Impala there, and they had done a diesel engine swap with a turbo. And I didn't really care about the engine or anything, right? I wasn't gonna do crazy mods on that. I was gonna do basic stuff. I was more focused on the paint and body work. And this car had been completely rebody worked, and it had a custom paint job on it, right? It was like a candy red almost, and it was like a darker red, like a root beer red. It was weird, and I was like, okay, so I pointed to the car. I said, okay, like, you know, let's talk numbers, right? Let's be real about this stuff. Let's talk about real numbers. And he's like, okay, because I mind you, I'm at the time, gosh, how old is it? 25 years old. I'm like, I'm a kid, like, basically, right? And I'm like talking to guys from Toyota corporate. I'm talking to guys from Ford corporate. I'm talking, and I'm standing in front of these guys from Galpin, and they're like, who the hell is this kid, right? And I'm like talking, let's talk about real numbers. And you know, I'm like, okay, so like, if I just need body work, right? If I need body work and paint, like, let's say I do all the ancillary stuff, I do all the other stuff by myself, which I ended up doing, like, because that's what I like to do. I'm like, let's just talk about paint, like this job, like where's your ballpark on it, right? And he's like, well, this is a you know, chameleon, blah blah blah. No, it wasn't. It was a what's the not chroma color, house of color, blah blah blah, red custom, da 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 da. And I was like, that's great, that's cool. You know, I'm glad you guys could do that. How much? And he's like, this job, just the paint was $26,000. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, mind you, I've built cars and I've been building cars, and I have another car that I'm building, and $26,000 sounds like a lot, but when you get into like really fine high-end paint and body stuff, that number can get there real quick. Like real quick. Like 20 grand is not out of the question. And they probably put a premium on it because it was Galpin Auto Sports and they didn't really want to do the job. And I got that from the conversation, which kind of aggravated me, but whatever. Like, I get it. I'm a 25-year-old. And I have another story about being a young punk ass. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, whatever. Like, I will... Like, I'll talk to whoever and like we'll get back to you, and you know, and I'm with my buddy from Toyota, and I'm like, let's just go, like, let's go back to the Toyota booth. And they were doing a bunch of Toyota cars there too, and I was like, okay, cool. And we were talking, and eventually I'm like, I'm just gonna start the build. Like, I'm gonna start the build, and wherever I get to, if I gotta bring people in at that point, I'll get to the people. So I gutted the car. Like, I literally gutted the car. Mind you, this car had gone to shows, it had gone to Vegas, it was in the Sign United ad campaign for Toyota. Like, it had gone everywhere. This car had traveled. And I'm like, you know what? I am going to just gut this car completely. And I did. I gutted the car. It literally only had 2 front seats. That's it. No carpet, no headliner, no plastics, nothing. No dash. Completely gutted. Put everything in storage. Started building it little by little. Little by little. Ended up building a custom subwoofer enclosure for it. Got with Chris Jarbo out of California, who did all my audio stuff. Like a bunch of stuff to this car. And I got to the point where I'm like, okay, now I need to do the exterior. Talked to a buddy of mine. He had a friend out of Paris, California. And I was like, can you do this, and this? I will bring you everything you need. I will bring this. I will bring that. I'll bring all the metal. He's like, yeah, no problem. Cool. How much? Quoted me a price. Gave him cash. I think to start the job was like $500 or $600, right? Gave him cash. I said, hey, Here's, start the job, do what you gotta do. How long is it gonna take? He's like, no more than 2 weeks. Okay, cool. Left the car with him. Mind you, Paris, California, from where I am, is about an hour and a half without traffic. Maybe more. Actually, it's probably longer. So I called my buddy. I'm like, hey, can you just check on the car periodically? Yeah, sure. So week passes, not concerned. 2 weeks pass, not concerned. 3 weeks pass, getting a little concerned. Right? Call the guy. Hey, what's up with the car? He's like, oh yeah, we're almost done. Oh, okay, cool. Call my buddy. Hey, dude, can you do me a favor? Can you just go down to this shop? Can you, see what's going on? He's like, yeah, sure. Goes down, talks to him, right? Kind of nonchalant. Calls me back. He's like, hey, your car looks like they're working on it, but they're not even close to being done. I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, they're not even close. And I'm like, huh. And I'm like, so what's going on? He's like, I talked to the building owner. I'm like, uh-huh. He's like, the building owner says their lease is up at the end of the month. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, he says their lease is up at the end of the month and they're not renewing. And I was like, bro, we need to go right now and get my car out. He's like, yeah, for sure. Mind you, my buddy is like 65 years old. Like, he's an old dude. So I'm like, I need to go get my car. You need to get my car out of there. We need to get my car out of there. He's like, when can you come down? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna drop everything this weekend. I'm there. So, that Saturday, I got up, ass crack of dawn. I drove my ass to Paris. I met my buddy. I'm like, listen, let's just get the car. I think I took my wife at the time. I think she was my girlfriend at the time with me. I don't remember. And I'm like, I'm just gonna pick it up. So we go to the shop. Like, everything's kind of closed. It's kind of sketch. And I'm like, okay. Knocked on the door. Bang, bang, bang. Right. This dude comes up. He's like, yeah, can I help you? I'm like, you have a car in here that belongs to me. I need it out. I need it now. And he's like, which car? And I'm like, it's a Scion, you guys are doing this, and this to it. He's like, dude, it's like in the back buried. And I'm like, unbury it. So, lifts up the thing. There's like 15 cars in there. My car's in like the middle of all these freaking cars that are in process. And I look and I just see primer. Like, they did some of the body work. Like, I'm not gonna knock them for trying. They did some of the body work. Some of the body work was done, right? Not the bulk of it, but some of it was done. And it was in primer, dude. And it was in like self-etching primer. It wasn't even like sanded out. And I was like, oh my god. So I'm like, just get the car out. Like, and he's like, do you have a balance to it? I'm like, I'm not paying a dime. Like, I already gave, $500 or $600 or whatever it is. I'm like, that's what this job's worth. And he's like, let me call whoever it was. And I'm like, you can call them whatever you want. I'm like, get my car out. So me and my buddy are like trying to get the car out. He said, if you want to take the car, take the car. I'm like, I'm taking the car. Like, I don't have to ask for permission. So I took the car out. I drove it home. It looked like a freaking cow. Like, it was gray and black and white. It was just horrible. Like, not even like good looking camel. Like, it was gross. So I was like, what am I going to do? I'm so desperate right now. So just to like pass the time with it, I spray painted the primer white just to make it look semi decent. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to a car show this weekend, meet my friends, whatever. So I ended up meeting with my buddies at a car show. I didn't take my car. Don't even joke. Like my car was seriously destined to be stuck in a garage at this point. Met with my buddies, and I met with this really cool dude who happened to live really close to me, and I was like, okay, cool. Like what's up? Like, let me kind of get the story right. So anyways, so I had actually worked with the company that he worked for a couple times before, and they had done some work for me, and I had in turn done some work for them. And he ended up being one of the creators of AutoCon, and AutoCon's a big car show. They were national. I don't know if they're still doing it. And he worked at a body shop in El Monte, which was not even lying, like 15 minutes or less from my house. And I met with the owner and the owner of the body shop, and I was like, listen, this is my situation. This is what happened. I'm trying to do this. I want to get the car to SEMA. I'm like, here's all the people that I've already got on the docket, like, aligned with my build, right? And they're like, yeah, no problem. I was like, cool. So I'm like talking to them. I'm like, I just need this body work done and I need it painted. Can we come up with a price? He's like, yeah, it'll be this much. I'm like, cool. How much if I just pay in cash? He's like, and he was really cool. He's like, well, then it's X dollars, right? And I'm like, okay, well, how much if I pay for cash up front? And he's like, you want to pay up front? I was like, yeah, I will pay you up front X amount of dollars if you commit to it and do it. And he's like, I'll do it for this much. Done. No problem. Paid in cash. Put the car in. The project started, right? I was at that body shop. I am not exaggerating. I was at that body shop every week after work. Probably 2 or 3 times a week, if not more. I made friends with the sales guys. I made friends with the body shop guys. I made friends with the owner. I made friends with his wife. I'm still friends with all these people. Like, we would go to lunch. We would go to dinner. Like, legit. And I was there working on the car with them when I could because I wanted to do stuff in tandem. I ended up helping them do 3 more builds for SEMA. I ended up getting set up with them on a bunch of other stuff. BASF at the time was coming out with their Charisma color line. Okay, so just so you guys know, the shop that I set up with, the painter that, no, I don't know if it's the pic from Google. I gotta find it. But the painter that was painting my car, was supposed to paint my car, was the same guy that drops color and paint and clear coat and all that stuff for Mr. Cartoon. So Mr. Cartoon's a big street artist. He does a bunch of cars and custom stuff. And this guy that was working at this shop also did stuff for Mr. Cartoon. Actually, he was doing so much stuff for Mr. Cartoon, he ended up leaving that body shop and working exclusively with Mr. Cartoon to do his cars and builds and stuff. So that was dope. And like I said, I made friends with all the guys. I would buy them lunch. We would hang out. We'd work late. Like, it was dope. And at the time, BASF was coming out with the Charisma color line. And I was like, cool, Charisma color. That looks dope. And the sales guy, my buddy now, was like, hey, check this out. And I'm like, what? And then he showed me the color palette. And I was like, that's dope. What, like, could we do this? And he's like, yeah, dude. He's like, let me call BASF, right? And I was like, he's like, what color do you like? And I saw this one color, and I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but it was a color shifting purple, right? And I was like, yeah, like, that looks dope. Like, I'd love to build my car around this color. And he's like, let me call BASF. So he calls BASF, right? Because they're doing stuff with them, and they're like, dude, yeah, 100%, we want to work on this build. It's going to SEMA, right? Yeah, it's going to SEMA, 100%. All right, cool. So they basically gave me all the paint, all the primer, all the clear coat, everything for my car, absolutely free. Which was phenomenal, like, phenomenal. And I talked to the guys at the body shop because this paint specifically, this is like a multi-stage paint job. Like, it wasn't no like, here's the base, here's the primer, here's the base, here's one shot of clear. No. This was like primer, first base coat, like the bottom base coat, almost like a candy coat on top. Like, it was a very complex, very, very detailed paint job. And that paint was thick when it was sprayed, like thick. With multiple coats of clear. There was so much, this is the funniest thing ever. There was so much clear coat on this car. So much clear coat on this car that I went to the shop one day and I was looking at the car. I was like, dude, this is sick. And I went to lift the hood, and right at the bottom of the hood was this just booger of clear coat. Just huge solidified booger of clear coat. And I was like, guys, what's going on? He's like, oh, we completely missed that when we were doing the final walkthrough. And I was like, all right, we're gonna fix it, right? He's like, yeah, no problem. So they basically cut it off and then sand it. And after they sand it, they do the final cut and polish, right? So it's the wet sanding and then they polish it out. So they did that. It looked awesome. And I was like, I need to debut this car. Like, it needs to have at least one showing where people are just going to lose their shit. It didn't have an interior. I barely had rims on it. Like, I had just gotten a set of rims for it. They were 20 inch 100 spoke, front wheel drive, basically lowrider rims, right? And they don't make front. Well, I don't know if they do now, but back then that was like the last set in the entire nation of front wheel drive, um, offset rims that you could buy. So, because now you can get reverse offset and standard offset, but this was like front wheel drive specifically, so it fit the caliper and everything. Like the offset was designed for front wheel drive. Um, and I was like, I gotta show this car off. Again, no interior, no sound system, just 2 front seats. I'm like, tint the windows as dark as we can tint them. I need to show this car off. So they're like, bet, done. So Scion and Toyota used to do this thing at Knott's Scary Farm, where they would basically take over the park with Scions, right? It was the Toys for Tots drive. You'd bring a toy, you get a ticket to Knott's, and and I was part of I was the president of a car club, so we always got like front billing, and it was dope, right? It was dope. So I'm like, I gotta show off this car. The year before I went, I didn't have a car. I went as a representative of the car club and and Toyota and all that stuff, and we did some stuff, and I had people have cars in the park. And this year I was like, I gotta show this car off. Like, legit have to show this car off. But with Knott's Scary Farm, you leave your car in the parking lot overnight, which I wasn't about to do. So I'm like, this car has to debut at least once. So talked to my buddy. I was like, listen, this is what's gonna happen. He's like, done, no problem. I'm like, wrap the car up. Let's see if we can get it going. He's like, cool. So jump in the car, haul ass to Buena Park. Literally on the 5 freeway going there, the supports on the bumper snap. Like, I was devastated. I was like, no way. Because I had the bumper I had was a fiberglass bumper, and we had customized the shit out of it. So so they snap, and I'm like, no, pulled over. No major damage, a lot of undercarriage, like visual stuff, but you couldn't see it on the exterior, especially when I aired out, because I was on air ride. So I was like, okay, cool. And I wasn't gonna pop the engine because I had nothing on the engine either. Nothing was done. So drove to AutoZone, like jerry rigged it back together, like just got it functioning, and drove to Buena Park. Debuted it for the first time in Buena Park. I was only there for an hour. Literally pulled into the parking lot, parked, set up what I had to set up. I was there for an hour, and my phone exploded. Everybody from the scene, everybody from the area and car clubs and all the people that were involved in it were just losing it, calling me, emailing me, texting me, Instagram, Facebooking me, all this stuff, right? And back then there was this really dope guy. His name's Jerry. He's president of Scion Image, and he's like, dude, I didn't realize what you had. Like, I didn't realize who that was, and I didn't realize what was going on. Anyways, this car, just paint and bodywork alone, just blew people's minds. Again, this is 2012, 2013, maybe. And my car I had been completely not showing this car for 2 years, at minimum 2 years. So when I came out of the woodwork, it was explosive. And at that point, like, it was a big deal if you got like tapped for clubs and everything. And there were clubs all out of Southern California that were trying to tap me to get into their car club because they wanted to do stuff. And I was done with car clubs. Like, I was like, I'm not doing car clubs anymore. So took it to Buena Park, pulled it out of Buena Park, drove it back to the body shop, put it back in the body shop, said, hey guys, this is the situation. They're like, no problem, got you. Ended up respraying the entire front of the car. And then it was crunch time. I had 12 weeks before SEMA. So interior, engine, sounds, everything had to get done, which was nuts, which is a story for another time. But yeah, that car was super fun. That process was super crazy. And you know, where was this? It was back in the day when I was in Southern California. Yeah, so again, I can tell you guys more car stories, and I'm totally down to do it. But um, you know, it was a time that I really enjoyed. I miss it now, but I have bigger and better things to do, and bigger, better projects. Like I said, I'm working on another car, so. But yeah, that was super fun. That was a super awesome experience, and and that car ended up crushing it. So, but it was a good time. It was a good time for all. And I really appreciate all the help and stuff. When I say I hadn't shown this car for 2 years, it was legit. This car took 2 years to build. So if any of you guys have the time and the resources to build a custom project and you can get away with doing it for 2 years, then mind you, this is from like legit start to finish. Not like I was building it slowly, over the course of no. I dropped it off at a deal at a body shop in 2011 or 2010 or whatever year it was, and it took 2 years. I missed 2 SEMAs, I missed 2 birthdays without this car. Like that's how long this took, right? Because of how custom. No, it's not a secret. I have a 62 Lincoln Continental convertible that I'm building little by little. That's my baby. I have so much time and energy and money, and I want to do some streams on that actually. So I have a new alternator that's going to go in, a new power system that's going to go in. I did some 3D printing for it. I want to, yeah, old man car. Screw you, bro. Screw you. Bro, that shit's legit. And air ride's gonna go into it, a bunch of different stuff. So, but that's another process. That's another process. Um, bro, Dallas Dabber with your little Subi, not even an STI, and your little fart cannon exhaust, trying to clown on me, bro. Don't even play that game. My car could eat your car. I think my engine is as big as your entire car, but it's slow as shit. Yeah, millennials. So yeah, that's another project I'm working on. So like I said, this project that I'm doing right now with the AR-15 and the bullet is gonna be part of another bigger project that I'm gonna put together. It's gonna have laser, it's gonna have 3D printing, it's gonna have LEDs, CNC work, and just a bunch of stuff. Oh, I did want to show you guys some stuff because I've been messing with some stuff. And tell me, I know, not even STI, bro. Like, you couldn't come up with the extra, $2,500 to get the STI, bro. No, I give him shit. It's actually pretty dope. I do like your car. I'm not gonna lie. It looks pretty good, but it needs a couple things like turbo and air ride. Like those 2 things, and I would drive that car. Maybe with a silencer on the exhaust though, because yeah, I'm an old man. Yeah. So, but like I said, I do want to show you guys some stuff. I've been messing with it. So, Dallas Dabber actually came over to the pad the other day, and we kind of hooked up some stuff. And I think I got it working. I'm not 100% sure. But like I did some camera controls, and we did some stuff. So this is the CNC machine cameras. I hope they initialize. Yeah. So, I don't know. Can you guys still hear me? Like I gotta hope that I'm still. When I switched over to CNC, could you guys still hear me? If not, I'm gonna have to fix that. But so that's the CNC machine, and it has a camera on the head of the CNC and a overhead camera, so you can see kind of the whole build plate. And then I also did one. Okay, cool. And then I also did one for the laser. And we covered the whole build plate, so you can see the entire build plate on the laser, and this is the camera setup for that. So it's kind of working right now, so I'm hoping it'll continue to work. And then I have a tripod camera that I can walk around with, which is what I'm going to use on the 3D printer once we do the 3D print of this project that I'm doing right now. So, but yeah, so like I said, bigger project. There's a bunch of other stuff I can talk to you guys about, like legit, like. I'm sorry. I'm going back to that automatic comment. Like, you gotta understand. And skateboard and vans, like, I don't know how old you are, but the fact that you made fun of millennials, I'm assuming you're a little bit older than them. Technically, I'm a millennial. Technically, but these kids do not know how to drive stick shifts, like, at all. Period. Like, it's unheard of. That is the best anti-theft device you can own, is a stick shift car, because nobody will be able to drive it. It's theft proof, you know. And like, if you got a girl, if your girl doesn't know how to drive stick and you can, like, she'll never want to borrow your car ever. It's the beauty of it. I learned on stick shift, dude. Like, I had so many cars growing up, like, so you're Adrian's age. It's funny. You poor kids. But do you know how to drive stick shift? But like, I've had so many cars, and I learned on the oldest POS truck how to drive stick. I literally drove stick shift for like 1 gear before my grandfather was like, "We gotta go." Like, I was like, "Okay, whatever." And I didn't even screw it up. It was my uncle. But I learned straight up. I jumped in a 1970 Volkswagen Beetle that I bought for $300, and I just drove it home. It was a stick shift car. I just drove it home. That's the first time I ever drove a stick shift. That's how I learned on it. I trashed that transmission, and that's how I learned how to drive a stick shift. So, he's like 2 years older. He had a Tesla. Ooh, now he's got an STI. Bro, how do you go from a Tesla to an STI? Like, legit, Tesla's like all torque. Like, that a Tesla could probably. I don't like, I'm not a big Tesla fan. Like, I don't want to own a Tesla. But all-wheel drive, what is it, the P180 or whatever? Like, that thing stomps on everything. Like, everything. What the hell? That is the worst. I went from a Scat to a Tesla to an ST. That is the worst friggin'. Like, it's terrible, bro. Like, what the hell? No, what? No. You had a stroke, right? Like, you're a 20-something year old with a brain aneurysm. Like, what the hell? But yeah, no. Teslas can, like, hold on. Like, the top tier Tesla, right? We're talking like 140,000, 150,000. Like, you know. I mean, it could smoke anything. Like, I've seen that thing go up against Lambos, and they're just practically toast compared to that. It's all torque. It's all torque. And it's like such a low center of gravity. It's crazy. It's crazy. Again, not a big fan of Teslas. Don't want to own a Tesla. Don't want to dog anybody that owns a Tesla. But they're cray. Like, they're crazy. As far as torque is concerned. No. I don't want a Tesla. I am not for the electric car, like, at all. I think right now, for me, electric cars are a fad, and and it's not sustainable. I tell people all the time, electric cars are designed to be thrown away. Like, you can't service them yourself. And if you find a place that services them, like, you're still paying a lot of money, and Tesla has the ability to freaking basically cut you off, from accessing their systems if you don't do it with Tesla. And then it's not like you can blow an engine and just replace the engine. No. You got to buy the motor. You got to buy the controller. Gasoline, cool. Your batteries deplete. Like, the battery life of a Tesla is like 5 years. And then what? You're going to spend another 20 grand for another battery pack? No, F that. No, hell no. Like, no. And then what do you do with the lithium? You can't recycle it. It ends up in a dump and destroys the environment. Like, it is the least environmentally friendly thing ever. And there's too much money in big oil and gas for them to get rid of it. And you will never, ever, ever see me go, ooh, I love the sound of this electric car. That hum. Hell no. You know, I had cars with open exhausts. Like, I love that rumble, that roar, that deep bass of a V8, just perpetuating your soul. Like, it's ingrained in me. That smell of gasoline after you get out of an old car, or whatever you guys do with your Subis. You know, the little fart cannons. You know, whatever. But or that turbo spool. Like, come on. Like, even my freaking Kia has a turbo. And then I put an upgraded blow off valve on, and I love that sound. Just that you know, that little hiss and pop and turbo blow off is like well worth it. Like, everything's well worth it. So no, I am never gonna get into electric cars. Nope, sorry. Hard pass. Hard pass. So whatever you guys are into, cool. Anyways, I've been talking for a shit ton of time. I want to throw this on a 3D printer, but I'm not gonna bore you guys with that process. Like I said, I'm gonna throw this on YouTube, because I'm not gonna do a 4-hour stream of the 3D. Or maybe I will. I don't know. But I'm gonna throw it on YouTube and do a time lapse of it, and then Dabber, if you want to help me create a time lapse for TikTok, I'm all in, bro. You just gotta get me hip with the kids. God. So yeah. So for now, I'm gonna let you guys do your thing. It's late. I'm sure you guys are streaming too. So I'm gonna sign off. I'll try to get on this again tomorrow. I got a game on Saturday, but yeah. If you guys are ever in an area, just come on through. We can chat and talk cars and do what we want to do. And you know, I love talking cars. I can talk cars all night, like legit. I can talk cars all night. That is like my favorite subject in the world. Cars and Batman. Like, no problem. I can talk that all night. So I'm gonna sign off. Peace out, guys. Thank you guys so much for sticking around, and I'll catch you on the next one.